Good morning, everybody. It's 8:30 a.m., November 28th. Lots of news going on. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Let's get right into it. Let's go right to watch. Let's see what's going on. We got the VIX is up 8.15%. That's a big jump. We got the dollars down 0.18, Dow's down 0.54, 10-year yield is down 0.57. The Russell's down 0.64, Nasdaq down 0.68, ES down 0.72, Bitcoin down 2.67%, and crude's the big loser, down 2.75%, $2.10 a barrel. Um, let's look at some leaders and laggards in the stock world. I wouldn't call it a leader, but Amazon is up 0.61. Let me change this. Um, Laggards. Tesla's got more recalls. Apple is gonna get hurt by 6 million iPhone Pro phones not being able to get out because of the protests at Foxconn. Coin down 3.5%. There's no real leader in these top sectors, but let's talk about some laggards. Uh, Disney, Roblox, Chevron and Exxon, no surprise, energy and sectors. Everything's kind of a little weak, but let's just go with the weakest: energy and tech and semis. That's that. This week we got a lot of news coming. Let's look at that. Give me one sec while I pull that up. All right, so today we have Fed speak. We have Bullard at 12, Williams at 12. Okay. Tomorrow, looks like we have consumer confidence. Wednesday, GDP for the quarter. That would be important. Um, we have Chicago PMI, JOLTS jobs, openings, pending home sales, crude inventories, and Fed Chair Powell speaks at 1:30 on Wednesday. That's a lot of news that day. Then Thursday we got PCE, initial jobless claims, more Fed speak, manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing employment, ISM manufacturing PMI. Friday we got non-farm payrolls at 8:30 and unemployment rate. So that's a lot of news this week. Um, Tons and tons of news. So this market's been headline risky. So that's something we gotta watch out for. So let's move over to this daily chart and SPY. I zoom this out a little bit than I normally have it, just so we can see where we're at. Okay, so I don't really count anything after Wednesday too much. I don't put too much weight on it at all. Now this downtrend from these highs has been hit once, twice, and now it's coming into play again along with the 200 moving average. So we've been able to not get above this 402.91, call 403 level. We have not been able to get over this level in the SPY. Okay, and the 200-day moving average is trickling down lower. Right now the SPY is at 399. So obviously everyone sees the 200 moving average here. Okay, what's been supportive has been the 9 daily EMA and the 100 moving average. So there's a little uptrend line here. I think we're right on that uptrend line right now, that current uptrend line. So we have to see. In the grand scheme of things, right, we have this Fibonacci from here to here, and we're above the 61.8 right now. But now with pre-market, we're below it a little bit, but we've crossed it and we're hanging above it. All right, here's the 50. All right, on the weeklies. Okay, let's get to those weeklies. There's that same trend line. Okay, here's the fib from the COVID low to the highs. Okay, what we did was we pulled down, really couldn't hold below this 200-day moving average in the weeklies, and this was our low. Okay, right at the 50% Fibonacci level. Okay, now we've crossed the 38.2, and we're right here. Okay, so this is the more farther pushed out view of what we've been doing. Okay, right at that 50 Fibonacci since the COVID low. COVID low to the highs, all-time highs. Okay, so this is very interesting of where we're at right now. We have another leg up, but every time we've made these legs up, we've been hit with selling. Okay, but now we're in seasonality that normally is bullish, right? But we have a lot of news this week that's very pivotal for the market. Now, December 13th, I believe, is the next CPI number, and let me just make sure that. Let me just make sure that. I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, the next CPI I can show you guys here is on December 13th, like I said. And then December 14th is FOMC. Yeah. So FOMC is the next day. That's the huge news. That's Santa Claus or not. That's what's gonna move this market, because we're in a range right now. I mean, there's news, a lot of news this week, but not the big news. The big news is those two, CPI and the FOMC. Okay? That's what we're looking at right now. All right, let's look at the Qs in the same way. Qs is weaker. It's no surprise. So from this fib, so we have this trend line too, coming down here. Okay, but it's really not. You can see the Qs haven't even been able to get over the 100-day moving average. They haven't even been able to cross and hold, cross at all the 50% Fibonacci. So it's weaker. It's weaker. Okay. As far as the weekly, let's go to those weeklies. So here's the Qs in the weeklies. Okay. Couldn't hold the 200. It was weaker. It was holding it, but now we're holding above the 200. Just weaker though, right? So here's that trend line that I talked about that we kept hitting, falling, hitting, falling. We have to see. This is all news driven. That's really what it is. No one can know what's going to happen. All right. Let's talk about just levels that we have to look for. Okay. So in the SPY, the most traded price of the month is 394.81. Okay. That's the first line of defense, 394. You don't want to see the market below that. Last line defense, 390. 390.26. This support level right here. Okay. These are bull bear lines, okay, for SPY. Let's look at the Qs. Now the Qs, you can see right here, right around the most traded price of the month, 285.83. 285.83 is the most traded price of the month. Okay. Last line of defense. See, now that's the most traded price of the month, and we're right by it right now. Okay. Last line of defense, 280. You got 390 in the SPY. Last line of defense, 280 in the Qs. Okay. Let's go to the triple-headed monster. 10-year yield. 10-year yield's falling lower. Remember, this is a leading indicator. This is the smart money. So, we're trending lower. We're trending lower, okay? Now, this isn't direct. The VIX is a different story right now. Look at that. Look at that gap up. Boop. Closed here at 20.5. We're up to 22.4 right now. We're all the way up here, hitting this trend line. Okay, hitting this trend line. So the VIX is pricing some fear in for this next month. All right, let's look at the dollar. The dollar's more in agreement with the TNX. So the dollar's down. We're down to 105. Okay, we're trending lower. Might even fix this trend line real quick. Okay, we're trending lower. Okay, hit the 200-day moving average almost. Okay, so the VIX is usually, they're all kind of in concert a little bit, but the VIX is 30 days out. So that's how that looks right now. Just to give you everybody some, the Dow has been out of this world. I mean, the Dow's way over the 200 moving average. You know, here's all-time highs. I mean, we're not even that far from it. It's pretty crazy. But remember, the Dow only has 30 stocks. Okay, and its heavily weighted stock is United Healthcare. So, SPY is a more representation of the whole market. Okay, let's get into the market profile. Let's get into this. All right. All right, so we have a bunch of profiles here from pretty much crappy low volume sessions here. So I don't put much weight into those. All right. More important, let's just concentrate what's going on now. The volume's back. Relative volume is back this morning. Okay. Let's see here. I can just show you guys that just to show you, because recently it's been garbage. So interesting that Nasdaq is 79% normal volume, but the ES is 103. So the ES is pretty much at a nice volume for this time of day. Crude still unbelievable, 158%. That's why I like trading crude right now. All right, let's get back. Let's see what we got here. Okay. All right. So let's just look at this overnight session. We have a low here. We have a high here. Essentially, we're gapping lower. Okay. So, but we have it's pretty balanced. The mid is here. Okay. So pretty large gap. Gaps are hard to read. This is the last 5 days. Okay, we're below the most traded price of the week. That price is 40.31, right? But however, you know, you don't want to see the market start to touch 39.65. Most traded price of the year, most traded price of the month. That's a huge level. Okay, we start coming down here, not good. Okay, so right now, just to look at this chart, we're almost 100% net short. So we opened here, I went up briefly, but the whole session's been lower. But we're not at the lows anymore. So people have been taking profits. So now we're here in this most traded price of the overnight. So it's kind of hard to read, especially coming off a couple weird volume days. All right, let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq gapping down. Now Nasdaq has actually been below the most traded price of the month now. Call it 11,770, 11,770. This area right here. Okay, it's below the 9 EMA on the daily. Most traded price of the week is still here at 116. Okay, so again, this still is this price here. It still is the price you don't want to go below. 115. Most traded price of the year. You don't want to go below this. So we have a lot of references in this area that you just don't want to go below. You go below that, that is very bearish. Okay. Also, 100%, almost 100% net long. We opened here. All the sessions been lower. However, a large gap. So it's very hard to read. Very, very hard to read what's going on. Especially the volume's back. You can see the range is 105 points. Okay, look at that, 105 points. Friday session was only 60. So this is pretty, the volume's pretty nice right now. But it's in the middle of the session. Look, the mid's here. So there's not much to see here. It's going to be all about gap fills. All right. That's going to tell us the strength of the weakness. You can see the profile here. Okay. This is where the most volume was. We're here now. Okay. This area is just like a chop zone, I would call it. We got to get out of it. It's going to go down or we're going to go up. All right, let's go to these hourly charts. Throw up my watch list here for a sec. There's not even much to glean from this low volume crap from last week, but we'll try to make some levels here that have some semblance of weight. So we have resistance at 40.48. Okay, we also have this gap, this old gap above us that still has not been filled. Okay, supply zone here with resistance at 40.17. Price is at 44,002 right now. We have a trend line that we're trying to hold here. We're trying to hold that trend line here. Okay. Support we have at 39.94. Right here. This has been support and resistance here. So these really levels here, 39.94 support, 40.1750 tells the tale of the market today. Okay. Let's go to the Nasdaq. Here's the levels, guys, I was talking about earlier. And the Nasdaq, most traded price of the year here. This was the most traded price of the year, but I'm keeping this box here. So this area is just the area you don't want to go below. Okay, right now Nasdaq is at support at 116.41, and it's catching a bid off the lows. Okay, but what do we have here? We have the most traded price of the month here. This area is a chop zone. That's why I pointed out before. This area with all these big volume nodes here, most traded price of the week, most traded price of the year, most traded price of the month. This is very choppy. You want to see us break out at 117.71 to get some kind of freedom here. Because in here, we'll probably do this. You want to get out of this area. And if unfortunately, if you want to go lower, you're going to have to get out of this area. Okay. All right, let's look at do little scenarios. I'm gonna merge some of these so I can get a cleaner picture here. Merge. Merge. I can't really see it though. Sorry, guys. It's gonna be all about the gap today, really, and these big references. Let me see if I can pull in the most. Here we go. All right. This is what I'm looking for today. Price is right here, 4,003. Okay. This area here, this is our gap fill. This is the lows of Friday. Okay. All we need to see is here's the plays. Do we fill the gap? And that's the scenario from there. If we do, how far do we go up past the most traded price of the week? Can we make it back to this area up here? Right? That would show some strength from the bulls. Now, if we can't close the gap, that's going to show strength from the sellers. And we could revisit these overnight lows. Okay. We also could fill the gap and fall too. So that's how you have to gauge this. Have to gauge the strength of this or not. So if we do fill the gap, okay, and we hold and we push above, we could go here. That's the bullish case. Okay. Two-pronged attack for this. For the selling, we could come up here, not fill the gap, come back down, test these overnight lows to go lower. And finally, we could open up, come up here, and balance here. Or come down here, pop up, balance. Okay, it's all about the gap fill though, or lack of gap fill, to show me who's strong, who's weak. Okay, let's go over here. Same thing. We're gonna look at key areas here. And I told you that this chop zone here. So this is just chop zone right here. Actually right here. Want to pop out of that. Okay. Let me label off this chop zone again just so everybody knows. Right here. We need to get out of that zone. Okay, how do we do that? Well, if we move up, fill the gap, that starts us to get out of the zone. We can hold it and we can push. Okay, maybe go to 118.42 here. Okay, if it's bearish, we come up, we could even fill the gap, but then we can't make it above. We start to fall back and maybe revisit the lows of the overnight and then make it down to the most traded price of the week here. And then good old 3, we can move up, balance, we can move down into this chop zone, and we're just balancing off and nothing happens today. Okay, but really I'm gonna look, the important thing is to look is the gap. Can we fill it? If we can't, sellers are stronger. If we fill it but then we still fall, sellers are stronger. If we fill it and we start to push up higher like I showed you guys, then we should get some bullish momentum. But we are gapping lower, so gaps I have to wait and digest. The market has to digest what's happening, plus all the weird little low volume stuff at the end of the week. Okay, so I'll be looking for those things. So that's it for me, guys. Hopefully, give me a comment, like, or subscribe. I wish everybody to have a green day today, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff on the plate this week. All right, take care, guys.